Oh, shoot, I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, yeah. I just had a birthday, and it started me thinking about the advantages of getting older. The best thing about it is that you can get away with a lot more than you could when you were 20 or 30 or 40. Most folks get to a point in life where they just plain don't give a damn what people think. This usually happens by their late 50s, and they finally begin living their lives the way they really want. One consequence of getting older started creeping up on me a few years ago: short-term memory loss. I had been noticing this one woman telling me the same stories with the same comments year after year in the exact same way. She never remembered having told me the stories, but she always remembered to use the exact terminology when repeating them. I vowed that I would never be as forgetful. So now I cover my butt when speaking. I usually begin a story by saying something to the effect of, "Like I think I might have told you before." Then I start my story. That lets me off the hook. It throws the onus of remembering onto the listener. Makes me feel good that I'm not appearing to be forgetful, when in reality I can't remember if I told the story to this person. If I did already tell them, well, I did begin by saying, "Like I think I might have told you before." If I didn't tell them, they'll just listen. Last year I noticed another advantage to short-term memory loss. It was a typical winter day and I didn't feel like going to work. I grabbed a book off the bookcase and spent the day alternately reading and dozing in my recliner. It literally was when I was in the last chapter and a new character entered the plot that I vaguely remembered already having read the book. I definitely remembered that character's unusual name, but still didn't remember how the book ended. Conversely, 30 years ago, I read The Thornbirds, and I can still tell you the names of Maggie's parents, all of her brothers, and the name of the station where they lived. I could tell you the names of the characters in the unabridged version of The Shining who did not appear in the original version. Again, I read both several years ago. My bookcase is filled with books that I think I've read in the last 5 years. I'm sure I have read them all, but I can't remember anything about them. It's too recent. If something is important to me, then I remember it. When I get a new software program, I have little problem learning and remembering it. However, new programs or procedures at work, I don't want to know them. I don't care. This all applies to TV programs, too. I record programs, watch them, and then forget them. Sometimes I watch the same Dateline 2 or 3 times before I remember it. This is all good, though. With the declining quality of television, I can watch the same thing over and over without being bored, while others are stuck watching some mindless drivel just because it's new programming. Usually, a person's name is unimportant to me. Therefore, I promptly will forget it, usually as soon as I hear it. If it happens that that person becomes a part of my life, then of course I'll make it a point to remember. But to remember the name of a person I meet at a party, I won't clutter up my brain. I have noticed that if a person says that they've told me something, and I say I don't remember, then all I have to do is quietly add, "I have short-term memory loss, you know," and they back off immediately out of embarrassment that I would admit such a thing. You'd be surprised at how much you can get away with by saying that. I usually say it in a low, conspiratorial voice between just them and me. And I do it with everyone. It works. If people know I have short-term memory loss, they help me keep my brain uncluttered, and that makes me look good. For example, last month I ran into a woman I had met but didn't remember her name. She said, Hi, I'm Allison. You remember me? We met at Donna's party last year. Then I pretended that I actually did remember her and said, Of course, Allison, I remember you very well. That's very impressive of me, don't you think?